Hello and welcome everyone to this webinar on Virtuoso test automation hacks as part of our monthly enablement webinar series called as Virtuoso Mastery Enablement Webinar Series. So today we have with us Asha Siddharaju, who is a partner enablement manager here at Virtuoso, and she'll be hosting the session on Virtuoso test automation hacks today. So can someone from Virtuoso please confirm if my voice is loud and clear? I just saw a comment that it's echoing.
Uh, Yes, Abjit, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks for confirming. So before we get started with the session, a few housekeeping rules. So there is a chat section and there is a Q&A section. Please use the chat section for generic discussions with the other participants of the webinar. And in case you have any questions, queries on the webinar topic or any of the webinar topics that we have covered so far, please feel free to drop the same in the Q&A section so that your questions would be answered by the end of the webinar today itself. And for any generic discussion, use the chat. You'll also find some useful links that would be uh, shared by the Virtuoso team uh, in between. So it will help you guide through the Virtuoso LMS, Virtuoso support platform, and other useful resources that will be helpful with your learning journey. So feel free to check the chat section for getting those useful links as well. And apart from that, we also have a quiz that that would be started by the end of the session today, and the top 5 participants of the quiz will be rewarded with Amazon gift cards worth £20 and in equivalent currencies if you need it in some other currencies. So stay tuned till the end and make sure to participate in the quiz once the session content has been completed so that you stand a chance to win the Amazon gift cards. So the agenda for the day would be will be first having a quick recap on the topics that we have covered and also some high level introduction of Virtuoso. Then we'll begin with the Virtuoso automation tips and tricks or automation hacks that will cover various use cases or automation use cases for automating string operations, then automating mouse operations in Virtuoso, then performing keyboard operations using the commands or NLP syntaxes that we have in Virtuoso, followed by table data verification of simple as well as complex table structures. Then there would be some additional or bonus use cases on which we'll be sharing how to automate those in Virtuoso. That would be followed by the Q&A and then the Virtuoso quiz, and we'll then announce the next session. So let's get started with the introduction first. So for those who have joined the webinar for the first time and you're not aware of Virtuoso, so Virtuoso is a low code, no code test automation solution that allows any and everyone to get started with their test automation journey. Uh, if you're a manual tester or if you are already skilled at some other automation tools, or if you're a business user, all of you can easily start your automation journey with Virtuoso by simply leveraging the natural language processing syntaxes that we use for test automation. So it's very easy and very fast to automate in Virtuoso. For example, creating a test step is as simple as writing plain English commands like click on a button. So just by writing these keywords, you will automatically be able to create these test steps in Virtuoso. Virtuoso is powered by AI capabilities. For example, it allows you to extend the capabilities of Virtuoso for automating various edge cases using extensions that are created by writing simple piece of JavaScript codes. But in case you do not know JavaScript, so there is an AI powered capability that allows you to automatically generate these extensions as well. So you don't need to worry about writing the codes as well in order to extend the capabilities. Then Virtuoso has self-healing capabilities that allows you to quickly maintain your test, automatically maintain your test, and you do not have to worry about fixing the elements whenever there are some changes made by the development team. Virtuoso also supports end-to-end testing of web applications, plus you can also include the API test steps in the same journey. So you can test an end-to-end use case using Virtuoso in the same test case or in the same journey. It allows you to execute your test on multiple browsers and on multiple device types by leveraging the cross-browser capabilities. So you can build your test in an environment and execute across multiple devices, multiple browsers using Virtuoso as well. So you can also start testing as early as the development cycle begins by using the requirements tab of Virtuoso by importing the Gherkin syntaxes, and you can get started to build the test framework earlier itself. So that is a quick introduction on Virtuoso, but today the topic is the Virtuoso tips and tricks and automation hacks around various edge cases and use cases. So for covering the same, I would like to hand it over to the speaker for the day, Asha. So Asha, you can continue.
Right.
Over to you.
Thank you, Abhijit. Can someone confirm if my voice is clear and crisp?
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome to the today's session. So, as Abhijit mentioned in the intro, so we are gonna learn today about the various automation use cases that can be handled using Virtuoso. And as per the agenda, we are going to learn with the segmentations that I have made today. So based on the usage of it or based on the categories that can be logically built. So first, let's begin with, I would say the most current use case that would be string operations. So when I say string operations, we must all have had come across a lot of use cases in our test automation where we'll have to convert some cases or maybe camel case, uppercase, or there will be some haphazard data that you have to sort of sort it, trim it, or split it. So there are multiple operations that needs to be handled when it comes to string, right? String is basically set of characters. So what we do in Virtuoso is Virtuoso gives us a various capability just with our JS expression, just with JavaScript inline expression, we can handle various string operations such as case conversion, len check. I'm just listing a couple of them, and the capability or the possibility is more. So here I've listed a couple of them. As you can see, let's go through a little of the main syntax that we are going to use. That is, as you can see in the first one, it has a dollar where you must all know what is it. So it's just defining a variable. So basically, if I do a dot lowercase, it kind of converts the string, the value that is stored in that variable to the case that we would want. In the first example, it would be, lowercase. And then the dot length gives the length of the string. I think it's straightforward. Now let's come to the trim. Trim is basically it kind of trims what is the value that you would need. Maybe it is trailing spaces or you would want some value to be removed. And then the last is going to be concatenated. It's basic Java syntax that we are going to use here. It's basically using the plus sign and joining the two strings. In here, in this last case, I have just added one nuance to it. It is basically I would want n, a space added between the two strings. So I have given s1 and that first string value to be added with the space with the second one. And these are the example syntaxes that we are going to use it in string operations, that is store value. So as Abhijit mentioned, it is very NLP syntax is very friendly and it is human friendly. So we don't have to write any extra lines to it. We just have to take the format and then we have to write it in human words. So what here I'm trying to do is in all these example, I'm storing one value in another value in another variable. So basically, the first one would represent I'm storing the length of the string in one variable called string length. And then the second would be, so here if you can see there are a couple of syntax such as lines, or I would say slash t and then slash n used. So as you all know, slash t is basically to add a tab and slash n to make it in a new line. So here if you see as per the example, this is not a joke, would be written in two lines or written in multi lines. So I'm just kind of storing it in my choice of variable, that is multi-line. So this is about string operations. Let's quickly go to Virtuoso and understand what further we can do it and how some of these that I've stated can be done. So I'm quickly switching to Virtuoso screen. Can someone see my screen? please confirm if my screen is visible.
Yes, Asha.
Yes.
Thank you. So for sake of demonstration and time, I have just created a sample goal. I'm sure everyone here would know how to create it. So here, I'll just show my first journey because I've given the demo web shop, that is our demonstration sample application, Rocket Shop Virtuoso. Because I've given that URL in my go, there is a checkpoint that is already created, right? Let me just bring my bot here. So there is an engine that's getting done. Now let's, while it takes time, right? So let me just say how we're gonna discuss on this. In the string, let's first understand what are the basic operations that we can do and what are the two other cases that we can work on it. Okay, let me refresh it. Okay. Let me just try to restart my bot. Moment. All right, I just had a mini heart attack. Now let me just run this from the beginning and let me open my interactive preview window. You can see what's happening here. So as you can see here, the Rocket Shop web application is open. So let's quickly understand the basic, right? So I'm just gonna write basic operations, creating it. Now here, let's do a use case where, I just take a sample string from the application and then I will do a set of operations on it. Now, let's, take this border not found as my string, right? What I will do is I have to basically store this string that I'm seeing in the application, right? In the right hand side, and I have to save it in some variable. That's my action. So how quickly it can be done? I'm just right clicking on it and store element text as variable. So let me just name it as string just for the reference. So when I do this, you can see at the left hand side, there is a step that is added and then the step is executed. Yeah, you can see it in the side effect. The border not found. That is the value that I needed, right? That is stored in the string. Now let us perform a simple, let's say store. I would want this, string length of this string that I have created so that I know if, let's say my use case is it within the limit, right? Like my next operation would be to assert or something. Now let me just go string length of in variable length. Okay, I've done this. Okay, including value. Right. Now if I save it, it's running and it has passed. So you can see the length of this string is 16. Now quickly, let's convert. Now we can see the string has saved the value like border not found. It is in camel cases. Let's convert everything in uppercase. Why? Because we can, and then let's try how it works. So we don't have to write anything out of the box or something to have any sort of operation, like let's say uppercase, lowercase, anything as such. We just have to, all we have to do is, this is my string that I have stored. So the variable that I have stored, I'm writing it, that is that dollar string. And then because I want to convert it into uppercase, so I'm going to write to uppercase and then parenthesis. Then let me just check the syntax. Yep. And let me just save the variable as keys. Now it should be running. It has passed. If you see in the side effects, it has the case now contains all capital letters. So this is as simple as it can get, right? So you just, now let's say I want to convert this to lowercase. Now what I have to do is I don't have to write anything extra to it. I just have to kind of write here lowercase So because I've just changed something, I just have to run. So let me just run from here, and it just runs that first step. Now here you can see it has converted everything into lowercase. So this is how you do basic operations such as taking the length of it and then converting it. Now let's also quickly, I'm just going to copy the data that I have here because I want to show. If you see here, I'm just writing a set of characters, that is a string that I've stored in multi-line. I want it in multi-line, right? So I have added one new line. So it should be like hello, and there the next line should have my name, right? So let me just run it and see. I've stored it here. So as you can see here, there is hello, and then my name is Asha. And if you see, I've added hello, and then there's a space, and then there is my name is Asha. So whatever I've given here, it has gotten converted. So these are the basic operations that we can do with string. And now let's go a little complex, right? Now let's take a case where assertion has to be done. Assertion is basically we are checking the validations using regular expressions. I think this used to be my favorite topic, regular expression, because it used to be a little confusing. Now let's take a case where you are taking a set of data, for example, as from the now from the screen you can sorry, on the screen you can see, a set of data like border not found. That just I captured it, right? Like that we have to capture a data, and then we need to check if in case we have a valid alphanumericals or a valid syntax that is present in our string, right? Happening. Tomorrow is the day all this should happen, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a case where I will take a sample variable set of data in a string, and then I will check if that string has the format that I would need. Let's, for example, alphanumerical, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to store value. What is the value I'm going to store? I will just place it in double quotes in, let's take it as word. So let me just take a value that has sample text and then a couple of numbers, right? Let me just see here. It has just stored in word. Now I need to check, right? Basically assert if assert, this is my word. So as you can see, it is popping up, right? I want to check if this equal to certain syntax that I'm going to write. Now I'm going to see assert if word equals to. So let's just place it in double quotes so that it just kind of gives me what value should be equal to what. So once I do this, please observe carefully. So the syntax is going to change now. It gives me the human value assert word equals to. There is a bit of error. Let me just quickly check. Okay. Right. Mm. I missed something. Yeah. So I have written equals to, but it is not equals to. It should be matches, right? Because as you can see, it is not as equal. It is could be in within the range. So I have fixed it quickly now. Now you can see I have added a simple regular expression, that is it should contain the smaller case alphabets and then the uppercase alphabets and then numericals. Now that's done. Let's also take another case where, for example, let me just store my email ID, store value. I just saved my email ID in. I'm sure you all have had the same scenario where you're taking email ID, sending it somewhere or receiving it from some data. And then before that, the validation would be whether this email ID that I've captured is valid or not. So what I can do is, let me quickly copy the same and then paste it here. Here, if you see, this kind of indicates the one set of data, right? Like it completely has just one set of data. But if I check my email ID, as you all know, the first set of data contains special characters also, and then there is at the rate, and then like the domain and all, right? Let's write a regex syntax. So now for me, the 0 to 9 also should have the extra characters, right? So let me just quickly write that. And then along with that, this kind of covers my first set of characters, but then along with that, I have to add in the at the rate and then the .com details plus. It also has to say it should start, right? It should not start with any weird characters or start with alphabet. So I have to write the start and then the end. These are the normal regular expressions which I'm sure all of us would have used. So I'm just quickly running through this. So let me just check if the syntax is correct, and yep, let me run and see. Now I've written if it matches or not. So it's running and it failed. I'm sure it will be. Yeah, there is two double quotes. Let me quickly fix this. Just a second. No, no. Okay. All right. Let me just fix it one more time. Mm, Yep, I had missed add space and then right. So if you see, I have added. um, Apologies. Okay. Now, if you can see, it should be saved with saying, the pattern has been matched. Sorry about that. Let's now check the next set of use case, that is on extracting the number from the string. That's basically most occurred nowadays. Most occurred use case would be, taking order number from a string of data or taking OTP from a set of characters that also has, alphabets. So let's say extract number. So this is my checkpoint. I'm going to take a free uh, set of string that I've already created. So I'm going to write store value, and I'm storing it in. Let's store it as OTP, as this is OTP. Let's say it as OTP text. Right. Okay. Yep. Okay. Everything seems good. Let's go ahead and let's go with the next set of character. Now, what I have to do, I have to take the number portion of it because that is my OTP, right? So I'll have to write NLP syntax for it. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to store value, that is bit of it. Let me just write it in another variable. Right now, I can just take it here. Here, if you see, I'll have to use a syntax dot replace of that would be my syntax. Let me just quickly take it in. So here, okay, this would be my syntax. Don't need this. Now, here if you can see, I'm stating that, hey, my string, the substring that I'm going to need, it should have alphabet, should not have alphabet and should have numbers. So start with it and then, end it when there is a end of the line, right? That's based on the pattern that we have seen here. So I've given my syntax like that. Mm, okay, right. As you can see here, there was, I can't say this was on purpose, but yes. So there was a mismatch in the variable that I had defined and that I had typed. So basically what I've done here is I've used the variable otp.text that I've taken from the application. Let's suppose that's the scenario. And then I have used replace as my syntax because I would want only the numbers. And then I have used the normal JS expression that is available. So this is about the string operations, the basic, and then the two sets of use cases that we can, perform using Virtuoso. Now let's move ahead to mouse operations. I'm sure everyone must have heard the possibilities of mouse operations that can be done, right? And here also we have set of mouse operations that we have categorized into two. Would that first one would be actions that requires element. Example, let's say I'm clicking on something, right clicking on something, double clicking, or hovering onto something. So all this needs an element. That's something that I mentioned, right? That's an element that is required. In that case, the first category is applied. So in case you want to perform an action on element, then you would use these set of operations. So the second would be where you would need coordinates. If you need a position, then we would use mouse operation, the second category, that is move and drag. These are the sample examples that we have: mouse, double click, right click, and mouse over, hover, and mouse move. So as you can see, the last one, mouse move, it has some numbers, right? So those numbers are coordinates. This is mouse operations. Let's take and it is done very simple, in a very simple manner, in Virtuoso, right? Let's go ahead quickly and let's check how do we do it, right? Let me just add a journey and let me name it as operations. So when I add it, you can see the first step is automatically added, and then we have this. Let me just add a checkpoint. Simple operations, as we do simple operations. Here, I can either write mouse. See, as you can see, if I write mouse, right, you can see the list of operations that I can do it here. A mouse leave, right click, double click. Now let's say I would want to mouse click on, let me write add to back. That would be basically when I don't mention any position, it's gonna take the first one, right? So you can see in the right hand side that it has added the first product to back. That's mouse click. Now let's suppose I would want to hover onto it, or now let's, I just want to change it, right? So here what I can do, or I would want to double click on certain operation. So I can usually go here, easily go here and see. If you look at here, there is click, there is wait, and there is click. And here in the advanced section, you also have mouse over here. Let me click on this and see what happens. So you can see it in the screenshots also. It has hovered onto this. As you can see, it has gone little up. The screen has gone up. That means it is hovering on gone testing. Let me also right click on this comment integration using the same method, mouse right click here. So when I do that, so you can see it is not taking a way coordination. It is coordinates. It's taking the actual hint that we are gonna give here. So you can see it. The hint that it has taken is comment integration. And another note to observe here is there is a section called action, wherein let's suppose right now you want to right click and capture something. Now in the next you would not want to, and you just want to leave it, or you want to enter something, or you want to click on it. Like there are other set of actions you would want to do, right? So you don't have to rewrite the entire syntax. All you have to do is I just have to change it. Now I've change it back to mouse click. Let me just run from here. So when I do that, let me go back and see it in the screenshot. If you see, it has clicked on this. So before it was here, comment integration. Now it has clicked and it has gone back to this add to back. Now let me close the step editor and go back to this interactive preview window. And here, let me add another syntax, that is mouse. Let me move some coordinates, right? So mouse move. Let me add 10 and let's add 30. Let me run it. So now here, if you see, it has moved to an extent. Now, because here there is nothing to be done, right? You would not see any operations to visibly done. But in case if we have any a visible validation that we need to do, maybe hovering onto something or like that, then we can use this mouse move operations or the syntax for the same, right? This is about mouse operations, and as I said, uh, it can be done very easily. Any operations, click, double click, right click, anything that's happening using mouse can be done very easily with only one change of actions. Now let's move ahead to the next operations, that is keyboard operations. I'm sure everyone must have heard and used this ARP applications. In most of the ARP application, we have all the shortcuts, and keyboard is used as a major backbone there. So in that cases, we don't have to write any extra set of code to perform any keyboard operations here. Every operations that we do with our own laptop, right? That can be our system that can be done by using a set of combinations in Virtuoso. So the pattern is same. The action that you're going to perform, it be it Control Shift or Enter, excuse me, that can be written as is. That is CTRL. That's the control that we're going to do. The next operation, the joint operation, which can be added by plus, right? That is written with underscore. That's the syntax. So you can see here some of the syntax are um, select all, copy, cut, paste. These are the operations. I think it's all universal. So I'm not going to spend more time on this, but you can just observe the syntax that it is written. It is fairly close to what we usually write in our other applications, right? Be it Word or be it Excel or something like that, like how we actually use these operations. And these are the examples that I have written. Some of them are, if we want to search on some icon, we usually go with enter, or we usually go with click, right? So we don't have to go with and click on the search button. We can just enter on it. All we have to do is press enter. So that's how we have done it. And then it is not just supported only for Windows. We also can do the same set of operations on Mac OS. All we need to do is replace the CTRL command with command, with written in all in caps. So this was keyboard operation. Let's quickly understand how we can do this, and we'll take a very simple scenario wherein I take the value or copy the value from one application and I would want to paste it in another application, right? Let me quickly write the journey, keyboard operations. So here I have rocket shop done. Now what I'm gonna do, let's write copy a value as my checkpoint. So there will be only two objectives to it. One would be copy, I'm going to copy the value and I'm going to paste the value, right? So I'm copying a value. Now let's first enter something in search, right? So right, let's enter comment integration. So I'm going to write comment integration. Where I should write is search. So let me write it, okay? Insert. So once I do this, expected is it should write comment integration. Now it has written, and there is sort of value that is up. Right now, I will copy the same thing because I would want to use the same in my next operations, let's say. So I have to write press. So as you can see, press, it says key in target. What do you want to do? And there is also example given. Control Shift, do you want to search or something like that? Now I want to copy it. So I will use CTRL, all caps, and then A. See, syntax is correct. So it is asking if there's a green. Now it is copied. Let me save it. CTRL underscore C. It has copied it. It has copied to clipboard. Now what I will do, you can, like, we can perform set of operations over here. Now let me navigate to the next. Basically, I need to paste this value, right? Paste a value. Where I will paste is just to add in a little complexity. I will paste it in another web application. This is our demo application, similar to Rocket Shop that you are seeing. Let me add, navigate. Now here, I want my Rocket Shop also to be there. that's the reason I will pick it in new tab. So there is already a suggestion to see how you can write. So I would write this. Once I type in this in the new tab, you can see another web application has opened. So now what I should do is I should just paste this value. But before that, I should get the control of this application, right? So I need to click on this. This is the sample text field I have chosen today. So now I will click on this. So I just right clicked on it and selected the click on element, and it has just picked up this and it has clicked on here. Now what I would do is I have to paste it. So control and then just go V. Now let's see if my syntax is correct. Yeah. As you can see, there is the copy paste just happened with, the normal syntax that we use. We control basically how we do it humanly, right? Manually also. We can select everything, copy it, and then paste it. This is one of the operation. Now let's say you want to erase it, right? Now what you would do is press again, you can select everything, ctrl underscore a. This is not needed. I'm just adding it in case to show, right? What are the other things that we can do? Here, let me just click and then so when I do this, everything is erased. So this is an example of how we can also perform keyboard operation using Virtuoso by using simple syntaxes that is already available. And then let's move to the next set of validation, that is table data. So I think we all know and can agree that nowadays the data is the most sought out thing, and the data is always stored in form of table. And now validating that table becomes a headache, or it can also be an easy fix, right? Now using Virtuoso, we can easily automate any rows of table data verification and validation. All we need to do is we just have to look for the row where the data is, and then find a logic or find the sort of find the format and then do it. Um, Let me quickly run through the next set of use case also, so that I can go back to Virtuoso and then showcase how table data verification is also done, right? Now, the other use cases would be file upload. Can we do file upload? Can we also do background color or font verification? This would not be the most occurrent scenario, but still it would be, always it is there in the automation, right? It's good to have this also to be done. And drag and drop, can I do the drag and drop and how stable it is? And also scrolling, I think that is also there. You would want to have to scroll to the right and then verify some object, or scroll to the bottom and see if that link is still there in the bottom. So all that operations can be done very easily by using Virtuoso. Let me tell you guys how do I do it. Right. Let me just go back and then looking at the time, let me just quickly take the use case that I've done and then click just a second. Mm, Table data operations. So I'm gonna walk you guys through a set of NLP that I've already written, which I so much wanted to do it today, but in the time I have to run it through. So I have opened my interactive preview window. This is the table that I have taken for today's example, right? So here the table contains set of data that has date, info, state, and then actions. So as you can see here, now let's suppose my requirement is I have to click on uh, buy or sell. That's the action that I want to do based on the state of it. The state I would want to look for is whether it is active or inactive. Let's say I want to buy the active set of quantity. Now, if that's the case, what I would do is I would look for element that has the state active. So you can see it here, look for the element that has active on page, and then I would click on sell. That's that, if I just quickly run you guys through the screenshot, you can see before element interaction, it has looked for the element active, and then it has gone here and it has clicked on sell. Now, there is also another side that is, let me just say, I want to look for inactive and maybe, I would want to sell it, right? Now, that might not be active use case, but in case if we want to do that, then this is how it is done. This is the before element interaction. So it has looked for the element inactive and it has gone for cell. You might now notice what is this red thread, what is it doing? It is a screenshot from this previous state of the application. And now let's suppose I want to verify based on two filters or two values. I want to get the quantity that has, let's suppose there is, as you can see in the application, there is 3 as quantity and the state is draft. In that case, what I would write is, it is as simple. We just have to write as an NLP syntax saying look for element 3 on the page. So you can see the before element and then after element interaction. Let us look for the element 3 and then look for element draft on the page. Second, here you can see in the red it has highlighted that it has looked for draft, and then it is clicking on that element that we have. So there are also other use cases that we have, based on by analyzing the properties of the table and looking at the pattern of your data. We can simply write the NLP commands and we can go ahead and automate the table and then the rows of data that is associated with the table. So this was about table data verification. Let me go back to my another goal where I had said file upload, because there are certain things that was needed as a prerequisite. I have typed in this. So here you can see there is the all I have to do. I have taken another web application. So let me just go to screenshot. I can quickly run this. Let me run and then also I can show you the screenshot. So here if I run in the interactive, okay, just run. It's executing. I will run back here. We go back to my before interaction, which is easy for us to track. Now, this is my sample application. It has loaded my application. So this wait 20 seconds for data is dynamic wait that we have given. It need not wait for 20 seconds. It just waits for the basic upload to be available. Once it is available, it just loads the page, moves to the next step. So here I have looked for this choose file. That is my choose file. And as I hover onto it, please observe this test upload file, the attribute name is an environment. You guys will learn what is environment. Uh, and then that environment is like it is basically say environment variable, which is created in the environment section of our Virtuoso. The name of the environment that it belongs to is global variable. And then we are basically taking a text file. You can see it in the value that there, the third line. So that text file is uploaded here. A note here is we do have a file size restriction for this operation, but there are alternates that is available for in case if there is any there is an exception where you need to upload bulk set of data. So this one way of doing it is we just store file variable in environment, and here what I'm doing is I'm just uploading it. So this is the syntax that I'm using, upload. So when I use a syntax as upload, it just takes the variable and then it whatever the data that is stored in the variable, and it just uploads it. So you can see it here before I click on submit. Do we have the data? Yes, we have test.txt. That was my text file. So this is the file upload simple operations that we have done. Now let's suppose you don't want to store that text file inside our Virtuoso. You are taking it from another application and you would want to directly upload it, right? For that, what we do is we use another variable called last download file. You can see it better here in this side effects. So here you can see, let's suppose we want some data that is to be stored, right? It will be stored in cloud drive. And then it is available in the form of link. And what we have to do is we just have to upload it. So here we are just uploading. Let me just go here. Here you see the choose file. So when I use this last upload file as an option, there's a local variable that is stored, that is storing the file, and then it just loads. So here you can see there is the file that is uploaded. That was a PDF file. And then when you click on press, that's the button, it performs the operation. So this was about file upload. And let's go to scrolling so that it gives us a little blind. Scroll, I would say it's the easiest one that we can do it. So there is action, scroll, and it has set of operations that we can use. So you want to scroll to bottom, top, or what is the perfect particular position that you would want to do, or what you would uh, make it, like the based on the distance or something. So these are the couple of NLP syntaxes that I have written. If I can show it here, it has gone to the bottom of the screen, right? Because I've given scroll page to bottom. And then if I say top, it has gone to the top of the top most of the screen. If I give the syntax scroll by certain coordinates, you can see it has moved a little, but not extremely to the bottom. Now this scroll to rocket shop, it indicates I'm giving it with particular element, right? So you have before and after interaction. So it has identified this particular element and then it has scrolled to that element position. Now the last for the session would be background color and font verification. Here, I'll give you the brief about the pattern that we have. So here we have an extension called get computed style. That is a preloaded extension or the extension that is already available in our library, extension library. We have to add it in the project or in the organization. Using that get computed extension, what we can do is all we have to do is store that property of the element that you would want to verify. Now let's suppose for this scenario, I have taken this button. As you can see, the button has a different color and also it has a different font. And then, even the font color of that text is different and the font color of the entire container is different. In case if we want to validate that, all we have to do is we have to store the class or the CSS property in the variable. And once that is done, there are pre-loaded syntaxes, that is font size, font family, background color. There are multiple properties of it. Using those properties, and we can just validate the background font color and fonts of the application or the element that we would want to validate. Now, this is the extension that we already have it, and we wouldn't need to do a lot of it. And along not just saving the data in a variable, we can also do an assertion or the subsequent operations that we can do after this. And I think I'm left with only drag and drop. So here, let me just quickly run this. And I have taken a sample application. So here, if you can see at this place from the screenshot, it was A and B. So my idea was to drag this component, drop it at the B section. So what I have to do is, again, I'm using extension that is available. This is simulate drag and drop extension is again a extension that is stored in our docs.virtuoso. So that's available for everyone to add it. And here what we do is we are going to um, give the element details of source and then the destination. And all we have to do is we have to just write it, and there is no return here used because we are performing some action. So if I quickly open the extension, you can see this is the source and destination, and there's no return we have added. So we have to just store the source and destination value of the property here. And when I do this, you can see it in the final screenshot that the drag and drop is successful. And with that, I think I've concluded. So let me just give it back to Vijit. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Asha. So I hope I am audible. Can you please confirm?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So let us check if we have any pending questions in the Q&A section. So I see that we have answered all the questions in the Q&A section, and we do not have any questions in the chats as well. In case you have any questions, queries around the topics that we have covered in this session and you would like to ask it live, please raise your hand or drop them in the Q&A section. But since we do not have any questions at the moment, so we'll launch the quiz and we'll keep it live for 5 minutes. And there would be 10 questions, and the top 5 participants will be rewarded with Amazon gift cards. So stay tuned and make sure to participate and answer all the questions. And the quiz goes live in 3 seconds. I hope everyone can see the quiz now.
Yep, I can see it.
You've started receiving the responses. The quiz would be live for 3 more minutes. Make sure to participate and answer all the questions. Last 1 minute before we close the quiz. Right, last 30 seconds. Right, that we'll close the quiz now. And thanks everyone for participating. We'll share the results with everyone in this week, in the next week itself, and all the winners would be announced on LinkedIn as well. So stay tuned to the Virtuoso uh, and Virtuoso LinkedIn page in order to make sure to get updates on the upcoming webinars. And with that, let us move to the next slide. So this brings me to the announcement for the next webinar, which would be on 24th of October, the same time, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. IST, which is 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. BST. The topic would be Virtuoso Test Automation Best Practices. And here our Associate Customer Experience Transformation Consultant, Venkata Sai, will demonstrate the Virtuoso best practices around general tool best practices of Virtuoso, test authoring best practices, test execution best practices, test maintenance and user management best practices for using Virtuoso, and how you can leverage these uh, in order to create the test artifacts in the best possible manner to optimize the test authoring, test execution, and make sure that you can easily maintain all the tests. So make sure to attend the webinar as well, because we'll also have uh, the quiz in the upcoming webinars as well. And all these winners would be rewarded in the upcoming webinars as well. So moving on to the next one, since we have the webinars planned for the entire year. So post the Virtuoso test automation best practices session, we'll have two more webinars for this year, which would be on 28th November on building extensions in Virtuoso, and one on 19th of December around integration of Virtuoso with third-party applications. So all the registrations of each of these webinars would be opened 1 month prior to the scheduled date of these webinars. In case you do not receive the email notifications, or in case you miss to check the LinkedIn pages for the registration links, make sure to visit the virtuoso.qa website in order to get the links of the webinar registrations. With that, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. I hope you got a chance to learn something new today, and see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.